I was out shopping for clothes with my in-laws when we unexpectedly ran into my husband's first love, Sarah. She was about my age. She mistook my mother-in-law for my biological mother. Not only did she aggressively shove her to the ground, but she also stomped on the back of her hand with the heel of her stiletto, cutting it open and causing it to bleed. My mother-in-law was so furious she had a heart attack. But instead of helping, Sarah blocked the ambulance and even called some people over to beat us up. Beat her up? That poor hag's just pretending to be dead to rack up hospital bills. Let's make sure she doesn't get the chance to fake it again, she screamed. I urged my husband, Jack, to rush to the hospital to see his mother one last time, but he just sneered and yelled angrily, "She brought it on herself. That old woman kicked Sarah in the stomach and made her miscarry. If she dies, that's karma." I stood at the emergency room entrance, my phone buzzing with Jack's furious voice. "You made your mom hurt Sarah, and now my mom's sick because of it? Rachel, you've become downright nasty." My mother-in-law was in critical condition. I didn't have the heart to argue and just shouted, "I would never gamble with your mother's life. Jack, if you don't come right now, you're going to regret it." Just then, a nurse rushed over to me. "You're the daughter of the patient, right? You need to pay the hospital fee, now." "Yes, I'm on it," I replied, grabbing the slip and running to the payment desk. Jack must have heard the commotion on my end, because he snorted, "Told you she was lying. Your mom caused Sarah to lose the baby. She's cruel. If she's dead now, she deserved it." I thought of how my mother-in-law cried out Jack. Jack, in despair as she was wheeled into the ER. I couldn't hold back my tears anymore. "Jack, I'm telling you again, that's your mom. Sarah is the one who hurt her. She's the one who blocked the ambulance, who wasted precious time. If you don't come now, you might never get to see her again." I screamed until my voice was hoarse. All I got in return was Jack's cold laugh. My parents are on a plane to Florida for vacation. I dropped them off at the airport myself this morning. And by the way, we're getting divorced. Your mom is your problem. Don't try to rope me into some shared family nonsense. Your whole household has nothing to do with me anymore. Handle your own mess, and don't expect another dollar from me. And yes, Jack had indeed taken his parents to the airport. Jack had just had a huge fight with his friend, and the three of them parted ways on bad terms. Meanwhile, I had always gotten along well with my in-laws. After years of peaceful living together, they came back to me, furious about what had happened. To cheer them up, I took them out for a walk, some food, and shopping, never expecting a nightmare like this. Turns out, Jack's parents had not even gotten on the plane. He was lying. And then he said it again, cold and heartless. "Emily is carrying my child. I want nothing to do with some barren hen like you. My parents have waited years for a grandchild. I'm not wasting time explaining anything to you anymore." Then he hung up, just like that, sharp words, no remorse. I struggled to keep my emotions in check. He was the one who cheated, the one who betrayed me first. And now he had the nerve to say things so cruel? Honestly, I didn't even care about him anymore. But to be fair, his parents had always been upright and kind to me. For 6 years, they truly treated me like their own daughter. Now my mother-in-law was in the ER, and my father-in-law was so stressed that his blood pressure skyrocketed. He was barely making sense. Technically and emotionally, Jack and I were still legally married. I couldn't just abandon them. I rushed to pay the hospital fees and ran back to the emergency area, only to find my father-in-law curled up in a chair at the corner of the hallway, waving me over weakly. "Where's Jack? How long until he gets here?" I couldn't bear to tell him the truth, it would be too much. "He's busy." "I didn't get a chance to explain everything earlier," I said. "Why don't you call him yourself? If he hears your voice, he'll understand how serious this is." We called. Jack picked up and instantly shouted, "Rachel! How long are you planning to keep bothering me?" My father-in-law was furious. He grabbed the phone and yelled, "Jack! Get to the hospital right now, damn it. He had barely been able to speak when he was first brought in, but now this, being yelled at, had pushed him over the edge. His voice cracked, ragged and broken, his breathing heavy and wheezy. Jack scoffed. Nice one, Rachel. Where'd you find this random old dude pretending to be my father? Listen up. You and that man, stay away from me. My father-in-law clutched his chest and collapsed from the chair onto the floor. The phone slipped from his hand and hit the ground. I rushed to catch him, just as a syrupy voice came from the phone. Jack, my stomach hurts. I think the baby's not doing well, Emily whined. Rachel can't have children, so she's just jealous. She's trying to stress me out so I lose the baby. Don't pay attention to her anymore, okay? Alright, I'll block her right now, Jack replied. I was furious and frantic. I grabbed the phone and shouted. Jack. How many damn minutes does it take for you to come to the hospital? You can't even look your parents in the eye one last time? If I'm lying to you about any of this, I swear, I won't rest in peace even in death. Huh, then why don't you just go die already? Jack snapped coldly before hanging up on me. My father-in-law clutched his chest, gasped a few times, and passed out right there. My mother-in-law was already fighting for her life in the ICU, and now my father-in-law had collapsed into unconsciousness. I screamed hoarsely for help, completely panicked, my hands trembling, my mind in knots. But their only son, Jack, didn't even show his face, not once. Just an hour ago, I'd had lunch with my in-laws. I had planned to buy them a few outfits to make them happy. We went to the Harmony Mall, the very first shopping center Jack and I had built together after launching our business empire. Back then, Jack used to call me his lucky star. Our corporation will be called Harmony and Rachel, he'd said. Because everyone should sing praises for Rachel's kindness and virtue. I can still hear his laughter in my ears like it was yesterday. But now? He's a completely different man. Not only is he demanding a divorce, but he's even being stingy over splitting the assets. The divorce papers weren't even finalized yet, and the legal process wasn't complete, but he was already telling everyone we were officially over. Swallowing my bitterness, I brought my mother-in-law to Harmony's luxury fashion boutique. I patiently helped her pick out styles and colors. The store manager welcomed us warmly. Ma'am, you're so lucky to have such a beautiful, thoughtful daughter with such great taste. My mother-in-law gripped my hand, pride and sorrow mingling in her voice. That's right. My daughter is simply the best. But just then, someone violently shoved my mother-in-law from behind. She staggered. I rushed to steady her. But before I could, a foot suddenly swept under her leg, hitting her hard in the shin. She fell to the ground with a loud thud. Her knee slammed against the hard marble floor of the boutique. The sound alone was enough to make my heart ache. She cried out in pain over and over. My father-in-law and I rushed to help her up, but then it got worse. A high heel came crashing down on the back of her hand. The woman ground it down maliciously, tearing through her skin. Blood poured from the gash. How could someone be this cruel? Furious, I shoved the woman's foot away and looked up. That's when I realized, it was Emily Taylor. Ow, my stomach hurts. How dare you all gang up on a pregnant woman like me, she cried out dramatically. Security. Call security. These three psychos are bullying a pregnant woman, teach them a lesson. Emily had injured my mother-in-law, and now she was clutching her belly, faking distress, and flipping the blame on us. The store manager, who had just been so welcoming, immediately rushed over and bowed deeply. Mrs. Taylor, I'm so sorry. We were busy helping another customer and didn't realize you had arrived. Please don't be angry, ma'am, the store manager bowed politely. We'll handle these disrespectful nobodies right away. Emily Taylor lifted her chin arrogantly and gave me a mocking glance. Huh. Trash like you trying to wear luxury brands like these? You're dragging the label down just by standing here. She then turned to the manager. Even if they starved for a year, they couldn't afford the cheapest piece in this boutique. Pathetic poor people trying to show off, they should be thrown out. The manager nodded immediately. Yes, ma'am. Security's on their way. We'll make sure these 3 broke beggars are thrown out. My father-in-law had just helped my mother-in-law up. He glared furiously at Emily. I don't care whose wife you claim to be. Do you even know who we? Before he could finish, Emily charged forward and shoved him hard to the ground. The manager didn't even try to help. Instead, he scolded him. You old beggar, how dare you question our madam's status? That woman is Mrs. Taylor, wife of CEO Jack Taylor, founder of Harmony and Rachel. Emily blew on her nails and rolled her eyes in disgust. Shameless old fools. Your whole family leeched off Jack for years. Now that you're no longer useful, how dare you still show your faces here? Get out. All of you. My in-laws sat slumped on the floor, struggling to get up, their faces pale with fury. They had finally realized this woman was the mistress their son had insisted on marrying. Jack had mentioned her several times over the past 6 months, promising to introduce Emily Taylor to his parents, but they had firmly refused to accept her, so the meeting never happened. Earlier, Emily had mistaken them for my own parents when I called out Mom, and since Jack often brought her shopping at Harmony Mall, the staff assumed she was the real Mrs. Taylor. My mother-in-law pointed a trembling finger at her. You homewrecker! How dare you call yourself Jack's wife? You destroyed my son's marriage, and you think you have a place in our family? Over my dead body. Everyone nearby froze in shock. No one had expected the elderly couple to be the actual parents of Jack Taylor, CEO of Harmony and Rachel. Just as a few stunned customers stepped forward to help them, Emily suddenly rushed over, grabbed my mother-in-law by the hair, and slapped her hard across the face. Shut your mouth, you old hag. You were never loved, you're the side piece. Your daughter's the tramp who came between me and Jack. She's a desperate little bitch who clings to my husband, you have no right to call him your son. My mother-in-law clutched her face, trembling, her complexion turning a frightening shade of purple. My father-in-law stepped forward, ready to speak, but before he could, a massive security guard burst onto the scene. Emily Taylor pointed directly at me and my in-laws, her voice icy cold. These broke lowlifes not only attacked a pregnant woman but also caused a public disturbance in this mall. Their filthy mouths deserve to be shut permanently. Beat the crap out of them, now. Seeing several security guards start to charge toward us, I instinctively threw myself in front of my in-laws, shielding them with my arms. I'm Jack Taylor's legal wife, I said firmly. And these are his biological parents. If any of you lay a finger on us, not only is it a crime, but Jack himself will not let this go. The head of security didn't even flinch. Instead, he slapped me hard across the face. The blow sent my vision spinning. My ears rang from the impact. You think a few lies will scare me? He sneered. Mr. Taylor has brought his wife here dozens of times. Hell, he personally told me to make sure she, Mrs. Taylor, is always protected. And today, you dare threaten her? Forget Jack, I'll make sure you all regret this. My in-laws helped me up, their eyes red with anger. Jack, you ungrateful wretch, my father-in-law cursed through clenched teeth. This is all you're doing. Every last bit of it. Enough, someone shouted. Guess you won't cry until the coffin's closed, huh? Hit them. Beat them for real. Several fists and boots came crashing down on us. I did everything I could to shield my in-laws, taking every punch and kick to my head and body. The words "for Emily" echoed in the air like a sick order. Then, one of them snatched our phones and smashed them to pieces on the floor. My mother-in-law clutched her chest, moaning in pain, and then collapsed unconscious. Mom, please wake up. Honey. Stay with me, my father-in-law cried out, trying to cradle her while still taking hits. Through the chaos, I screamed. She's having a heart attack. Someone call 911. Emily just looked at me coldly, then smirked. Still calling her your mother-in-law? Jack isn't your husband anymore, remember? Your mom is your problem. Leave my husband and his family out of it. Then she turned and barked. Jack. What are you standing there for? Keep going. Teach them a lesson. That old hag isn't pretending to die for sympathy, is she? Beat her until she can't pretend anymore. Yes, ma'am, the guards answered. Emily grinned triumphantly and strutted away. I clenched my teeth, trying to hold back the pain, and kept performing CPR on my mother-in-law. My father-in-law, beaten and crying, begged in desperation. Please, someone, anyone, call an ambulance. She couldn't hold on any longer. The ambulance finally arrived. But it was already too late for the best chance to save her. Is anyone here with the patient? Any family? The urgent voice from the ER snapped me out of my grief. The doctor looked at me and shook his head gently. I'm sorry, we did everything we could. But she doesn't have much time left. Please call the family to come say goodbye. Tears immediately streamed down my face. Our phones had been smashed earlier. I had no way to contact Jack. Even the backup phone I had, he had blocked me on that too. I begged the doctor to call him from the hospital's line, but Jack refused to answer every single time. In desperation, I had no choice but to rush straight to his office. There he was, sitting in his glass-walled executive suite, sweetly cuddling with Emily Taylor like they were the perfect couple. Jack. I burst in, holding out the emergency notice. Come to the hospital right now. You can still see your mom one last time. He glanced at the black and white document, and his expression shifted. But Emily quickly snatched the paper from my hand and tore it to shreds. Jack. This woman is evil. Your parents are obviously on vacation, and she dares curse your mother like this? Anyone could fake a document like that. She's got no limits. She'll say anything. Jack's eyes narrowed in disgust. He picked up his phone and tried calling his parents. Naturally, the call didn't go through. They're probably still on the plane, he said coldly. Rachel, this is the second time you've wished death on my mother. What the hell is wrong with you? I felt a coldness spread through my chest, deep into my bones. Jack, we've known each other for over 10 years. What could I possibly gain by lying to you like this? Your parents were furious and never boarded that plane. Emily was the one who triggered your mother's heart attack. She blocked us from calling 911, and we lost the critical time needed to save her. Even while slipping into unconsciousness, your mom was calling your name. If you come now, you might still make it. Who? Jack, Emily interrupted me with a dramatic sob. She and her mother kicked me in the stomach. They're trying to kill our baby. And now she's cursing your mom too? My stomach really hurts, Jack. You have to protect me. For our child. Without another word, Jack grabbed the notebook off his desk and slammed it across my face. I tried to dodge, but Jack still slashed my cheek, a deep cut tore across my face, and blood started pouring instantly. Rachel, you lie, then come here begging for it? Don't blame me for being cruel, he growled, twisting both my arms behind my back and pinning me down. Then he turned to Emily. Go ahead, Emily. However she hurt you, now's your chance to give it all back. Emily lunged forward with glee, raised her stiletto high, and kicked me hard in the stomach. A sharp, crushing pain spread through my lower abdomen. Jack held me tightly in place, completely ignoring Emily as she continued to kick and punch me like she was out for blood. Through the blur of pain, I saw a hazy image of my mother-in-law's pale face, and the tear at the corner of her eye. Clenching my teeth, I endured the agony, desperate to protect even the last thread of hope for her survival. Jack, if you don't go to the hospital now, it'll be too late. Your mother, she kept calling your name, again and again. Shut up, he snapped. If you curse my mom one more time, I'll rip that filthy mouth off your face. This is all just a scheme to get your hands on my assets, isn't it? That's why you're dragging out the divorce. You want to kill Emily and our baby. And now you're trying to curse my mother to death too? She treated you like her own daughter. Don't you have a heart at all, Rachel? You're disgusting. He yelled as he threw me across the room. My head slammed into the wall, blood from my forehead ran down my face and neck, soaking my clothes. I closed my eyes, heart aching. Mom. Dad. I'm sorry. I really tried. I did everything I could. As Jack held Emily close, trying to calm her down from the shock of the assault, his phone rang, shrill and piercing. Is this Jack Taylor? You're listed as the emergency contact for Miss Lucille Taylor, your biological mother. I'm sorry to inform you that she passed away at 3:17 p.m. Please come to Central Memorial Hospital immediately to handle the arrangements. What? Jack jolted like he'd been struck. His phone slipped from his hands and shattered on the floor. 3:17 p.m. I looked up at the wall clock through a veil of tears. Jack's mother had passed 3 minutes ago. If he had come with me after seeing the emergency report, he could have made it in time. It only takes 10 minutes to get from his office to Central Memorial. Rachel, you bitch, he roared, charging toward me and yanking me up from the floor, his eyes bloodshot. Why didn't you tell me sooner? Why? I took a deep breath and slapped him across the face with all my strength. I've been telling you for hours, Jack. I begged. I showed you the report. But all you did was believe Emily's lies. Even when I brought the hospital documents to your face, you still didn't believe me. Jack Taylor, this is your karma. I pushed past him, staggering toward the door, blood still dripping down my skin. I couldn't bear to stay another second near this filthy, monstrous excuse of a man. Jack froze for a few seconds, then suddenly grabbed his car keys and yanked me toward the garage. Jack. Jack, wait for me. Emily's shrill voice echoed from behind us. But Jack didn't look back, not even once. We stormed into the hospital like mad people. And then, we saw it. His mother lay on the bed, already covered with a white sheet. Mom. Mom. I'm too late. I'm too late, Jack collapsed to his knees, sobbing uncontrollably. Suddenly, her right hand slipped from beneath the sheet. A long, dark, bloodied gash marked the back of her hand. The sight of it hit Jack like a slap in the face. He jumped up, shaken. No. This isn't my mom. My mom didn't have a wound like that. She was fine this morning, I took her to the airport myself. This can't be my mother. He spun around and grabbed the doctor by the collar. Where is she? Where are you hiding her? He screamed. You're working with Rachel, aren't you? This is all a setup. She's fine, right? Right? I walked up and slapped him hard across the face. Jack, if there's any shred of humanity left in you, stop this. Let your mother rest in peace. Let me be very clear, that wound on her hand came from the woman you worship like gold, Emily Taylor. She stomped on your mother's hand with her heel. Do you know how much pain your mom was in? Emily? No, no way. Emily's gentle. She wouldn't. Slap. I struck him again, harder this time. Emily didn't just knock your mom down and injure her. She insulted your parents with vile words, and when your mom had a heart attack, she incited the security guards to beat them up. Jack, Emily Taylor killed your mother. She did this. Jack went completely silent. Tears poured from his eyes as he stumbled back toward the body. He gently lifted the sheet covering her face. The pale, lifeless face beneath it broke him. He collapsed beside her and howled in anguish. Get out. Don't touch her. Don't dirty her body. You're ruining her peace, ruining her chance to move on. I grabbed his hair and yanked him away from the bedside, furious. Jack looked up at me, trembling, his eyes red and hollow. Rachel, where's my dad? Where is he? We rushed to his father's hospital room and found him sitting quietly, staring blankly at the wall. My nose stung from holding back tears. Dad. I'm sorry. I couldn't bring Jack in time to let him see Mom one last time. I held his cold, trembling hand, and my tears wouldn't stop falling. Jack's father slowly turned his head and gave a faint shake. This isn't your fault, Rachel, he whispered. It's our fault. We raised a monster. Jack dropped to his knees beside the bed, bowing again and again. Dad, I was wrong. I was wrong. Please don't say that. Mom's gone. I only have you left. Please don't leave me too. The man who had once beaten me to defend Emily now sobbed like a lost child. His father turned his eyes toward him, slowly, silently, filled with pain and disappointment. I am not your father, Jack's dad said coldly. Even if I die, I will never acknowledge a son like you. Please. Dad, don't be angry. Mom is gone now. It's just the two of us left, Jack pleaded, voice trembling. Shut up, his father barked. Suddenly, his chest began to heave violently. Fearing he was about to collapse again, I rushed forward, pressing gently against his chest to soothe him. Dad, please calm down. I'll get him out of here right away. Your mother already made it very clear, he said between ragged breaths. From now on, Rachel is our only child. As far as I'm concerned, we never had a son like you. Dad, Jack started to speak again, but was immediately cut off. Get out. Get out. Seeing his father gasping harder and harder, Jack panicked and bolted from the hospital room. I pressed the emergency call button for the doctor. After a sedative was administered, and his breathing stabilized, I quietly stepped outside. Just down the hall, Jack sat slumped against the wall, watching something on his phone. On the screen was the disgusting face of Emily Taylor. I let out a cold laugh. After everything fell apart, the death, the disgrace, he still clings to her like she's some precious treasure. I didn't say a word. I turned and walked straight past him. There was still so much to handle, the arrangements for Mom's funeral, Dad's hospital care. I had no time to waste on a monster like him. But Jack suddenly ran to catch up with me. He grabbed my wrist. I looked down. He was holding his phone, showing a video, security footage from a few hours ago at Harmony Mall. In it, my mother-in-law was pointing a finger directly at Emily. You homewrecker. How dare you call yourself Jack's wife? You'll never step foot in our home. People around were still stunned, just beginning to help my in-laws up, when Emily suddenly sneered, grabbed Mom by the hair, and slapped her, hard. Shut up, you bitter old woman. You were the other woman. Your daughter's the one who stole Jack from me. That little slut clings to my husband like a parasite. You have no right to call him your son. My mother-in-law held her face, trembling, her skin turning purple with rage. Emily then pointed at us and screamed at the guards. These filthy rats assaulted a pregnant woman. They caused a public disturbance in this mall and cursed me with foul language. Beat their faces in. All of them. The video continued, scenes of us being violently attacked by the guards. I had shielded my in-laws with my own body, taking every blow myself. Suddenly, Jack grabbed my hand, tears running down his face. I was wrong. Rachel. I was so wrong. Please, forgive me. I'm begging you, forgive me. I looked at him coldly, and yanked my hand away. In the video, Emily Taylor was shouting orders to destroy our phones. My mother-in-law clutched her chest in agony and collapsed on the spot. Mom. Mom, please wake up. Sweetheart. Please, stay with me. Stop. Somebody stop this. She's having a heart attack. Call 911, someone shouted in the background. But Emily just laughed maniacally. Oh, now she's calling her mother-in-law? What a joke. Your mom is your mom. Stop dragging my husband into your pitiful mess. Jack. What are you standing there for? Keep going. That wrinkled old woman isn't faking a heart attack for money, is she? Beat her until she can't fake it anymore. Yes, ma'am, one of the guards replied. The video ended with the sound of my and my father-in-law's desperate cries and pleas. The final frame frozen on my mother-in-law's motionless body. It was footage shot by a bystander, who couldn't stand by and do nothing. That same stranger had been the one who called 911 that day. The clip had gone viral and was now trending at the top of social media. Jack, a complete stranger, reached out to help, but you and Emily, the people who were supposed to love her, stood there and let her die. We loved each other for over a decade. If it had been my mother in that hospital bed today, would you have reacted the same way? Cold, cruel, and heartless? Well then, I hope you and Emily stay together forever. A perfect match in hell. I turned to leave, but Jack grabbed my wrist. Rachel. I was wrong. I know I was wrong. Please, please forgive me, he begged, tears pouring down his face. I won't let Emily get away with this. I swear. I'll make her pay with her life for what she did to Mom. Pay with her life? I sneered. She's carrying your baby. He paused, visibly hesitating. As expected. I'll wait until after she gives birth, he muttered. Mom always dreamed of having a grandchild. At least, this way, she can rest in peace. He looked at me with glassy eyes. Rachel, if you could have given me a child, none of this would have happened. Emily was just supposed to have a baby. I never wanted to divorce you. But you were so stubborn. The moment you found out, you demanded a divorce. I was angry. I didn't want to lose you. That's why I refused to split the assets. I wanted to keep you with me. Rachel. I love you. I always have. Now that Mom's gone, I only have you and Dad left. Please, don't leave me too. I stared at him, frozen, stunned by his audacity. So it was all my fault, wasn't it? His affair was because of me. Without saying a word, I pulled out my phone, opened a locked folder, and entered the password. A medical document immediately popped up. Jack, I said coldly. Take a good look. He stared at it in disbelief. Diagnosis, low sperm count, infertility confirmed. The one who can't have children is you. All these years, I protected your dignity. I never told a soul, not even your parents. But despite that, they still treated me with love and respect, never once caring whether I could bear children. And you? You chose betrayal. At first, I planned to wait until Emily gave birth before telling you, to let you parade around as a proud father, only to find out the child wasn't yours in front of everyone. But now? Now, I just want revenge for your mother. If there's even a shred of decency left in you, don't you dare continue shielding Emily Taylor. As I spoke, I forwarded the test results to Jack's phone. He stood frozen like a statue, his face pale as ash. I turned and walked away, without looking back once. Even another second near that filthy man made me want to vomit. That night, while I sat by my father-in-law's bedside, Jack showed up again, this time dragging Emily with him. I stared coldly at Emily's face, swollen like a pig's head. She immediately dropped to her knees and grabbed my leg. Rachel, please, I'm begging you. Please tell Jack to spare me. I was wrong. I shouldn't have insulted you. I swear I'll never do it again. I yanked my leg away and kicked her repulsive face aside. What kind of filthy mess you two created, don't drag me into it. Emily crawled toward me again, desperate. Jack said, you get to decide my punishment. Please, Rachel. I'm still young. I'm pregnant. Please. Smack. 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 I couldn't hold it in anymore. I slapped her, hard, over and over. When my mother-in-law was dying, I begged you. I pleaded. And you didn't stop. You wanted her dead. Now you want mercy? You want forgiveness? It's too late. My mom is never coming back. Fine. You want me to decide? I looked down at her, my voice like ice. Then die. Atone with your life. That's the only way I'll forgive you. Go on. Do it. Emily trembled, shaking her head violently. Please. Rachel. I can't die. I have a child. I have a baby. Shut up. Jack roared. He grabbed her by the hair and yanked her up viciously. You still dare mention that child? I already got the amniotic DNA test back. That baby? It's not even mine. You filthy, disgusting whore. You destroyed my family. You killed my mother. You owe her your life. He screamed, slamming her head against the wall again and again. Emily collapsed to the floor, barely conscious. But Jack didn't stop. His eyes full of rage, he stomped on her stomach with brutal force. As expected, blood began to pool beneath Emily Taylor. I looked away. I didn't bother watching any longer. Trash fighting trash, that's all this was. Karma playing out in real time. None of them deserved sympathy. I kept walking forward without hesitation. Behind me, I could still hear Jack's crazed stomping, Emily's screams, and the urgent shouting of medical staff trying to stop him. But none of that had anything to do with me anymore. The only thing that truly hurt was that my mother-in-law, a kind, compassionate woman who had lived her entire life with grace, would never return. All I could do now was care for my father-in-law the best I could, so that wherever she was, she could rest a little easier. Jack and I had been deskmates since high school. Back then, his mother ran a small tailoring shop, and his father was an electrical engineer. They were a gentle, warm couple who loved each other deeply. I still remember, senior year, Jack had secretly tucked a photo of me under his pillow. His parents found it while cleaning. But instead of scolding him for falling in love too young, or blaming me, they gently sat him down and said, "If you truly care about someone, you must learn to take responsibility. Study hard. Get into a good college. A stable future is the only way you can protect the girl you love." After the college entrance exam, we both got accepted to a top-tier university in Chicago. Jack later told me those were the exact words his parents had said. I was touched, truly moved. Our university was hundreds of miles from home. Yet every time his parents came to visit, they always brought bags full of food and supplies, for me too. They'd say, "We always hoped for a daughter. But we only had Jack." Luckily, Rachel is bright, kind, and looks after Jack so well in a strange city. They'd even joke that I kept him out of trouble and helped him focus on his studies. They grew to love me like their own. His mother once held my hand and said, "If Jack ever dares hurt or betray you, I will always be on your side. I'll never let you suffer alone." And she meant it. She proved it. 6 years into our marriage, when I still hadn't conceived, Jack grew anxious, even panicked. But not his mother. She never blamed me or pressured me, not once. She'd always say, "Children are a matter of fate. But a husband and wife, that's a bond for life. If we're not meant to have kids, then treasure the time you do have together. Don't let something small destroy something precious." When she found out Jack had been cheating, she and her husband were just as heartbroken as I was. They blamed themselves for raising a son who turned out this way. She even cried, held my hand tightly, and said, "This is my fault. I failed to teach Jack properly, and now you're the one who's hurt." Sometimes, I think the world truly is unfair. The good people go unrecognized. The bad ones flourish, leaving chaos behind them. Silently, I knelt and laid her favorite bouquet of iris flowers at her grave. I only hope that, wherever she is now, Jack's mother has finally found peace and happiness. As for the people who caused her pain, I will never forgive them. Jack was the first to hand over the evidence to the police. After a thorough investigation, the police confirmed that Emily Taylor had deliberately delayed medical treatment, abused an elderly person, and committed multiple criminal acts. She was arrested and would face the full weight of the law. In court, Emily was formally charged with elder abuse and intentional infliction of bodily harm. Jack took the witness stand, recounting in detail Emily's cruelty and violence. After reviewing the testimony, the court issued its verdict. Emily Taylor was found guilty of elder abuse and intentionally delaying emergency treatment for Jack's mother, which directly caused her condition to worsen and ultimately led to her death. Based on state law, Emily was sentenced to 5 years in prison and fined $15,000 in civil damages. When the sentence was announced, Emily collapsed in her chair, screaming and begging for mercy. Jack stood there in silence, watching as she was led away in handcuffs, without even the faintest hint of relief on his face. He felt nothing but regret that realization had come too late. His mother was gone. Forever. There would never again be someone who called him Jackie with such warmth, no one to shield him from life's storms, no one who truly loved him without conditions. After Emily's sentencing, Jack immediately terminated all the guards, managers, and staff from Harmony Mall who had participated in the brutal assault against me and his parents that day, and brought charges against them in court. Some of the guards were sentenced to 2 to 3 years in prison. The store manager and employees, while not criminally charged, were condemned fiercely by the public. Their reputations were shattered, they lost their jobs and any chance of recovery in the industry. For the rest of their lives, they'll carry the label of those who abused the elderly. As for me, standing at my mother-in-law's grave, watching Jack kneel in remorse, I could only offer him a cold smile. Did he really think this was enough to redeem himself? He was wrong. Dead wrong. Emily Taylor and those at Harmony Mall deserved what they got. But Jack? He was no innocent. I handed the police an audio recording from the day I was assaulted in Jack's office. That's right. I had secretly recorded everything. I also turned in a handwritten letter from Jack's father. Every word of it bled sorrow and condemnation. He vowed never to forgive his son. But that wasn't all. Aside from my testimony, there was also the brutal beating Jack gave Emily, so severe she miscarried and suffered internal injuries, all documented by the hospital. And more importantly, I held extensive evidence of Jack's financial crimes, illegal asset transfers, embezzlement of joint funds, and falsified financial reports during our marriage. Harmony and Rachel was a company we built together, from nothing. Though I hadn't appeared in public for years, I still maintained a strong private network, business partners, clients, and insiders who remained loyal. With my father-in-law's full support, I didn't hesitate, I handed everything over to the authorities. In the end, Jack was found guilty on multiple charges and sentenced to 10 years in prison. As the officers led him away, he turned back, begging me, and his father, for forgiveness. My father-in-law simply let the tears fall. He didn't say a word. He didn't even look at Jack. As for me? I didn't spare him even a glance. Some mistakes don't deserve forgiveness. Not in this lifetime. From this day on, whether mountains or oceans lie between us, may we never cross paths again. After assuming control of Harmony and Rachel, I had no time to waste. There was so much to do. I would care for my biological parents and my father-in-law with all the love and devotion they deserved. And as for myself, I would walk forward, strong and unshaken, toward a happiness that belongs to me and me alone.